Yeah, if you're a Hare Scramble racer, that's probably one of the most exciting times of your day. Now, these guys on my left seem pretty excited about something, not sure what. Live engine start here at the Peninsula Classic. That's the 30A class going on in front of us. This live engine start's the only one of Hare Scramble in our region that I know of. It gives us a chance to fry our clutches before we head into the woods. On this video, you probably enjoy watching nerdy vet riders like myself go putt-putt around in the woods of eastern Virginia on their dirt bikes. And if you're wondering, yes, I did edit out a lot of that fast grass track section because my ego can't handle getting dropped. So let's go over the road, jump over the ditch here, and go into the woods. This is a brand new property. The races have all been held here, so it's all brand new single track that we're racing. It's awesome. Walked a little bit of the course during the morning race. The course looked amazing. The dirt's really good, so it's setting up real good into a great racetrack. Of course, with dirt that soft, it's going to get pretty chewed up towards the end of our race, and it was. And that's pretty normal for most courses that we'll race. They're pretty rough and choppy by the end of the afternoon race. Now, the name of the game today is super tight trail. Narrow passages through the trees, a lot of ducking and weaving and occasionally pinballing off those trees. If you were a rider that raced this race and didn't hit at least a few trees and have some tears on the arms of your jersey, I want to hear from you and know how you did that. So we had 15 guys in the line today. After getting dropped out in the fields, I slotted into the woods in 4th place right behind Corey Jacobs, who's sitting 3rd there. Dodge and Robert Nathan in the woods 1st and 2nd, not sure which order, but I know they were up in their own little battle in front of us, just checking out on the rest of the class. And for whatever reason, for the first part of the race when I was behind Corey here, I could not stop stalling the bike. I feel like I had it happen 3 or 4 times. I was looking for a way around and it'd go out of rhythm and stall the bike, restart, catch back up, do it again. And that only happened in the first part of the race when I was riding behind Corey here. Difficult section here. It looked simple, but if you got on the gas too hard, like Corey did there, you'd lose it. And this was so soft, like a bottomless pit through that little drainage ditch there that would catch you off guard if you weren't going fast enough. And in later laps, I started taking the bridge on the right just for consistency, even if it was a second or two slower. You see Corey looked like he stalled there too, so at least I'm not the only one. You can make a drinking game out of it. Every time I stall the bike, you have to take a shot. Oh shoot, I said there. Just remarking, oh shoot, this is a pretty cool trail. It's pretty tight and a lot of fun. But as I picked up the pace, I still don't know what happened, but it felt like the steering damper was engaging. It was way too tight when it shouldn't have been grabbing the front wheel, so I'd be going around some corners and feeling like the steering damper was preventing me from steering out of the corners and counter steering to get the bike back up. So I stopped just to correct it and turn the steering damper off basically, but it caught me off guard a few times. You see there, I'm reaching down and backing off on the damping controls. It caught me off guard a few times, and I stopped a number of times at first. Like one time I even got off the bike to look at them, did I have a flat front tire or what was going on. I still never did figure out what the problem was. Like about being here is when you are catching the guys that are maybe the back end of the row in front of you or a couple rows in front of you, there's still 8 riders, so they're still moving at a pretty good clip and you don't have that frantic urgency trying to get around them. And they're also pretty skilled riders, so I'll give a little yell, but I also understand there's nowhere to go right now. So when there's a split in the trail, I may give a little bit more of a yell to say, hey, slow down, I'm going to try to come around on the other split side. But everybody here has been around the block and they kind of know the deal, they know how to come by, so it tends to work out pretty good. And I had a lot of experiences in the C-Class and B-Class that were maybe not as smooth as that. So, nice thing about get yourself up into A-Class, you don't have to deal with that anymore. So that was Nick Simpson and Alan who let me by there. I always try to say thank you if I can. If I've got some breath and I can say something and my engine's not revving, I'll try to say thanks as I go by because I do appreciate when you guys let me by like that. They actually had to let me pass twice because I decided to get off my bike and play around in the woods a little bit to examine the front end and see what was going on the corners. So they got by me when I stopped and they had to let me by again, so I appreciate it, guys. So at this point I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? Because this is like probably the 8th or 9th corner in a row since the beginning of the race that the front end feels like it's locked up on me. So I'm thinking, do I have a front end flat? Do I have a loose axle clamps? Maybe the forks are loose and triple clamps are twisted? I don't know. I can't find anything wrong with it. So let's just go again and see if anything gets worse or better. Now at this point I've turned my steering damper pretty much all the way off because that's what it felt like it was at first. And that was fine for the tight woods. But out in the open, you can see here I'm checking to make sure to verify that I've actually turned the damper off. Out in the open, bike got pretty skatey and pretty dancey because I have the front end set up pretty aggressively, where I'm pretty front end low to keep the bike nimble in the woods like this, and I usually rely on the damper to stabilize it when I'm out in the open fast stuff. At this point, when we hit these open straightaways, I'm pretty nervous about any bumps or any little thing that can upset the bike and cause some head shake, because like I said, I'm set up pretty aggressively, and now I have no steering damper, which I usually have, so I'm kind of tiptoeing through these faster sections here. Second time, because these guys were already nice enough to let me by once, so I'll wait a little while. I might just let a little yell to let them know I'm there, but I'm not going to be banging the door down. So in the riders meeting, they called this little motocross track. I call it more of a turn track. It was pretty cool. By the end of the race, we had some pretty good ruts developed in those corners. You could really hit the corners pretty good. But of course, us as racers, we have to make our ruts so close to those tires that are on the inside. By the end of the race, there's a couple of the corners where we were hanging our legs up on the tread of those tires because we all cut it so close. I thought this was kind of funny. This is right at the end of the lap here, and I was thinking maybe I have a rear flat. That's what's causing the front end to feel weird. And I didn't realize until watching this video back, and then I thought about it. Hey dummy, you have a bib in the rear, so I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I had a flat loose bib. That can't really happen. So yeah, sometimes I get kind of dumb during our races. This was a fun little section, of course. Just these couple corners after the log here. This corner, right, left, right, or something like that. Those berms and ruts developed really nicely to where in the middle of the race you could really lay into it. By the end of the race it was pretty torn up, but you could really carve into those corners, and those stuck out in the green. Some fun corners to go over. So there's taking that alternate bridge line that might have been a little slower, but was consistent at least. Kevin Weber, catching A250 guy. He's an A rider. He knows that I let him know I'm back there, but there's nowhere he can go right now. So he's going to pick the pace up a little bit, run a pretty good clip, and he's not really holding me up at all. So he's going a pretty good clip until he can find a spot to let me by, which will be just coming out of the corner on the open straightaway here. So everything works good, and I give him a little wave, thank you, as I come by, and everybody's happy. prior, this had been a 90-degree corner because the tape there was down. So I was expecting another 90-degree corner there and came out and had to correct real quick and get on with the S-turns. Second lap, about 6th lap of the race. And I know at this point right now I'm in 3rd place, and I get the message on the board as I'm going by that I'm a minute and 2 down second, which is Andy Dodge, I think, at this point. And typically I'm pretty good at with my fitness and closing down gaps in the back half of the race. So Andy usually can get away from me and stay away from me pretty good. I got nothing else to do, so I may as well focus and see if I can close that gap down. This is kind of an embarrassing moment in the race. I'm chirping and revving the engine and just letting Josh know I'm back there. He eventually finds a spot, a nice smooth spot that's safe for him to pull over and smoothly let me by. So he lets me by there, and then I do what we really hate to do after we've been hooting and hollering and carrying on and hey, let me by, is we end up doing something stupid and holding up the rider that just lets you by like a bonehead. Catch back up to him and, with my tail tucked between my legs and see if he'll be nice enough to let me by again. And as it turns out, on the 4th or 5th lap, Andy apparently took a little tumble and messed up his front brake a bit, and so that allowed me to close that gap back down and catch him about halfway through the 5th lap. And we ended up having a really good battle, which was kind of a bummer. My camera battery died and missed that entire battle. I think it died 5 minutes or so before I caught it. But yeah, we had a good battle. Ended up hitting him a few times trying to get by. Nice hits, not just a bunch of takeouts. So we ended up having a good battle, and I was able to sneak by him probably 3 or 4 minutes before the end of the race and take home second. So I was happy with that. So this was my first go at recording a race, and actually the first time I had ever used this particular chest protector mount that I made up. Before I've used helmet mounts, but I'm not allowed to use those now. So in the future, for the next race, I want to move that mount up a little bit because I think we're spending too much time staring at my bar pad and my triple things here. So I want to change that, and then hopefully